Hidden Gems of DFW is a video podcast to help marketing professionals as well as newbies learn the art of marketing and finding the treasures that help a small business grow. This podcast will be filled with gems and treasures in the DFW area from some of the best guests in the business. And even if you are not in the DFW area, these treasures will work for you. And now, get ready for the Hidden Gems of DFW podcast with me, Kris O'Connor. Welcome. I am so excited you're here today. This is my very first podcast. Welcome to Hidden Gems of DFW. I'm Kris O'Connor, your host, and my company name is Kris O'Connor Marketing Gems. So what I'm here today to talk to you about is me. The only way that anybody can learn about somebody is to tell your story. So I wanted to first, on my first episode, tell you my story and where I came from and how I arrived at this destination. It was a rocky road. It was a challenging road. It was a fun road. But, you know, when we're all little, everyone always says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, you know, most people will say doctor, lawyer, nurse, truck driver, you know, nothing really fancy. And my answer was, I just wanted to be a mom. That's it. I had no aspirations to be anything else but a mom. And I was lucky enough to do that and be a mom. But, you know, things change. And moved all over the United States. I went from Wisconsin to Michigan to Ohio to Colorado, Oregon, Virginia, and arrived here in Texas. And I've been in Texas since 1994. So I guess I could call myself a Texan, right? Been here 20 years. Anyways, the road along that journey was a challenging one. I got to be a mom. I loved being a mom. It is the best job in the whole wide world. But my son started going to school. Well, what do you do with yourself when he goes to school or your kids go to school? You have a lot of free time. So I went to volunteer. I was a volunteer at the school, and I volunteered a lot in the library. And I want to thank somebody. Her name is Sandy Donovan. She was my first mentor. She pushed me into a lot of things that I wasn't ready for. She pushed me into subbing. And I said, I have no experience doing that. Don't push me into that. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do this. She kept telling me. And then the next thing I know, I'm subbing. And the principal loves me to death because I'm actually one of those subs that showed up, didn't call in sick, was always there on time, took care of the kids, so on and so forth. So during that time, Wiley School District was growing, and they were opening a new school, which he was going to be the principal of. And he walked up to me in the hall one day and he said, hey, I have 2 jobs available, and I want you to be one of them. Wow. I thought that's a huge compliment because I just was having fun being a sub and having a good time with the kids. I love kids. I love being around the kids. They're a lot of fun. And so I said, okay, well, let me think about it. And I came back, and the next thing I know, this is who I became. Welcome to Art, Mrs. O'Connor. What a ball we had. So much fun. It was a ton of fun. I dealt with 650 kids every week, K through 4. My classes had anywhere between 24 and 28 kids per session, all by myself. Wow. I look back and think, I don't know how I did that. And the funniest thing is, have you ever taught your own kid? Yeah. I made my own kid, Sean, call me Mrs. O'Connor. I wasn't his mom in the classroom. I was his teacher. And the day that he really woke up when realized that I was his teacher was the day that I signed his chart and he got in trouble. From that day on, he realized that I was Mrs. O'Connor and I was not mom to get away with everything. I absolutely loved everything that I did in the art room. We had so much fun. We made paper mache. We made flubber. Now you can buy flubber, but back then you couldn't buy it. You got your hands gooey and ooey. And we just had a ton of fun in the classroom. Well, life changes, people change, things happen. And I decide that it's time to make a change. So I moved into the library to become an assistant librarian because it was more money. I was going through a divorce. I was becoming a single parent, and I needed to make more money. And I thought that was the way to do it. So I moved into a new school to be their librarian. I was so excited. Again, I had no training to be an art teacher. I had no training to be a substitute. I just jumped in with both feet and plunged forward. I look back now and I think, wow, I should have been scared at doing all of that, but I wasn't. I was excited. It was a new adventure. It was something new, something challenging, something to grow with. Well, then life changes, stuff happens, and I wasn't making it in the school system on a salary. So I moved into the corporate world. Every job that I got was through somebody who helped me and encouraged me to go do that. And there's a hashtag out there, do it scared. Well, let me tell you what, back then I was scared. But I had to keep going because my why was my son. He was my pride and my joy. I had to keep a roof over his head. He needed clothes. He was into baseball and doing very well with it. Private baseball lessons, all of that stuff. So how do I make it happen? I move into the corporate world. I become in a department, accounts payable. I wanted to advance, but because I didn't have a piece of paper that I had a bachelor degree, means that I don't get to move up in the world. They only promoted people who have had a degree. So now what? I bounced around in this company and I went from accounts payable to taxes to accounts receivable to payroll. And I said, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more. And I had met somebody else who said, hey, let's go have lunch. And then the next thing I know, she's offering me a position in her business. And her business happened to be a garage door company. That's how I arrived at the garage door industry. While I was there, I met a man, fell deeply in love. He already had his own company. He had started it in 2002, but he was a one-man show, which is a lot of what goes on in that industry, a one-man show. He said, let's go do this. And I jumped in both feet, never looked back. You want to say do it scared. Let me tell you what, I was scared because for the first time in my life, I didn't have a paycheck to rely on. It was all on my efforts. And that's a scary thing. But I can tell you this, if you're out there wondering, should I or shouldn't I? I'm going to pat you on the back and kick you in the butt and say, you need to go for it because you only live once. You'll never regret it. You'll never look back because failure is not an option. Period. It's not an option. So you tell me, is there something that you're scared about that you don't want to go out and do? Is there something that you're struggling with or where you want to go or what you want to do? Well, do it. Just do it because you will prove to yourself that you can make it in this world. I promise you, you can, but you got to believe in who you are and believe in what you do. So now I want to tell you about how I got started in the garage door industry. When the man that I fell in love with said, let's go do this, and I said, okay, not knowing a thing, not knowing anything about business, not knowing, he put me as a general manager and I fought it. I didn't want to be a general manager. What does a general manager do? They run the business. Well, I had no experience. I had no idea, none, what I was doing. But as I look back now, I see that having 650 students every week in my classroom, I was actually running an organization. I didn't know it at the time, but I actually was running an organization. So early on, October 1st, 2006 is when I took the leap to never look back. I was scared, because I had a mortgage, I had a son, I had a car payment, I had this, I had that, all these bills, right? As a single mom, it's scary to step out on your own. And I was scared. And early on, probably October, November, December, I don't remember exactly when, he said, you need to go out and network, and you need to go knock on doors, and you need to, cold call apartment complexes and all these things. And I was like, whoa, doggy, I am not a cold caller. I am not going on knocking on anybody's door to talk about the garage door business. I'm not doing it. So I had to figure out a way how to do it. And networking was scary. I was scared. I was scared to walk into a room full of people and introduce myself. I had no idea what to say. I had no idea where to go. I had no idea what to do. And, Google is such a great resource that back then I used Google, and I ran across a site called meetup.com. I hope you all know about meetup.com, because honestly, there is anything and everything you can find on meetup.com. It doesn't matter if you want it in your personal life, if you want to learn how to bowl, if you want to date, if you want to find business meetings, business groups, you name it, it's on there. There's somebody hosting a meeting for something. I belong to one that's unbiological sisterhood, and we go do fun things, and it's just a bunch of women that has a good time, and we do go to different events. But I found meetup.com, and the first meeting I went to was called Business Blitz, and Jennifer ran it, and she made such an impact on me, I will never forget it. I didn't know how to network. Do you know how to network? I know there's people out there that teach you how to network, but I didn't know how to network. So she had a little class in one of her meetings. It was a lunch meeting, and I will never forget it. And I've never, what I learned that day, I continue to use till today. What she said in that meeting was, instead of I, my, we, she said, what can you do for the other person? So the point was made that when you network and you go to a networking group, a lot of people just want to shove that business card down your throat and call me. Okay, well, I may not need your services. I may not want your services. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is the question that I've asked a lot of people over the years, and it's helped grow our business when I was in the garage door industry. Here's the simple question. Do you already have somebody, let's say I'm in real estate, do you already have somebody in real estate that you know that you would refer business to? And that other individual is either going to tell you, yes, oh yeah, my brother does, my sister does, my aunt does, or whoever. Okay, well, right then and there, they're not ever going to refer business to you. But you can do a follow-up question with, oh, do you mind if I give you my card and I can be a second opinion if that referral ever falls through and can't do what you need to be done? Brilliant. For me, it was a light bulb, because now I'm not pushing myself on people. I'm offering my services either as a first referral or a second opinion. What a great way to build friendships and relationships. And if they already have somebody that they refer to, have a one-on-one with them. Learn about their business. Learn what they do. Take 20 minutes out of your schedule. I'm telling you, I did a lot of one-on-ones back then, and that's how we grew the business. One by one. Jenna Kushner on this program that I've been doing said the other day, one, the power of one. We get so overwhelmed because there's 20 people, 50 people, 100 people in these rooms. It's the power of one. Just find that one person. Introduce yourself. Do you already have? And if they don't, be that person. Have a one-on-one. Show them what you are all about. Learn what they're all about. When you do that, you will gain a lot of friendships. You will gain a lot of trust. You will gain probably lifetime referrals if you simply do it that way. But if you're the kind that wants to shove that business card down somebody's throat, I promise you, that phone's not going to ring. When I was networking and I became part of the Plano Chamber, it was 8 months before we got our first referral. 8 months. It wasn't the next day. It wasn't a week later. 8 months. All these networking events you go to and all these cards you plant, those are seeds. Those are seeds in your garden. And if you plant a lot of seeds, eventually those seeds will sprout. And eventually they'll sprout into growth. And eventually they'll sprout into referrals. So plant the garden. Now's the time. And it doesn't have to be 50 people at one time. The power of one is all you need. So I wanted to add, when I was networking, that in our industry, in the garage door industry, we were an emergency-based type industry, meaning that a garage door would break after hours, and you'd stress about a broken spring or the door off track or having to get to a meeting and stress that you couldn't get to it because you can't get out of your garage because you can't lift your garage door. And so instead of us or me giving a business card, I used to hand out a sticker. And I tell people, take this sticker when you get home and put this above your garage door opener, the wall console, the garage door doorbell button, whatever you had in there that opens the garage door. And the reason I said that is because when you're in an emergency type situation, you can't think. You're just stressed because you got to get to the airport. You got to get to that meeting. You got to get to that show. You got to get to whatever it is that you're getting to. And now you're panicked and you normally don't think straight. So by having that sticker above the wall console, they're already in the garage. All they had to do was call that phone number and life would be easier for them. They'd get somebody out there quickly. We answered the phone 24/7. Somebody was always there on the other end of the phone. It didn't go to a voicemail. So find your little trick, whether it be your business card or something different, maybe bigger than a big business card. I do know that I have people that I network with that have circles and different types of things that they network with. So find your little fun. Don't be like everybody else. That will stick out and do something different. It's so important. And I also wanted to share with you, since Hidden Gems of DFW is all about the treasures that we find in life and treasures that we find in our business and the treasures that we find in people, I wanted to share with you, I have a little treasure chest here today. And in this treasure chest is something that helped changed the history of the garage door industry that I was in, our business. I want to share that with you today. And it's a book. And it's called The EMyth Revisited by Michael Gerber. It's not the only business book out there, promise you. There's a ton of great ones. But this one lit a lot of light bulbs for me and helped me understand business. It helped me understand who the manager was. It helped me understand who the entrepreneur was. It helped me understand the 3 different people that were involved in a business and how to make it better, systems, all kinds of great things. This is my tip for you today. If you haven't read this and you're in business, I highly, highly, highly recommend this book to you. And in that saying, because we're full of treasures, we have a small little contest that we're going to start. And the very first treasure that I'm going to send you to, because we all love treasure, right? I mean, people die for treasure. I mean, isn't that treasure up in, I think it was Colorado or Wyoming, gold and whatever else he had in that, and people took years and years and years to find. Finally was found right before he died or after he died, I can't remember. But life is full of treasures. So my newest treasure that I want to share with you, and it's going to be a little contest. We're going to have treasures each podcast, and our newest treasure is Crave Popcorn. Some of you may know it, some of you may not. It's a company located in Plano. So the contest is, I want you to go to Crave Popcorn, and I want you to take pictures, and I want you to post yourself outside of Crave Popcorn, and I want you to be creative with what you're writing and the story, because we're going to choose the winner when she comes on the show, and she's going to be my second show. Crave Popcorn and her journey and her treasures. So make sure that you post them, and post them either on my Facebook page or on my company page, Kris O'Connor Marketing Gems on Facebook. That's where you can find me. So that's your challenge for the week. That's your hidden gem for the week. So tell me, what's your hidden gem? I'd like to know. Come share it with us on Facebook. Come share it with us on a private message to me, because I know you all have them. So that's a wrap for the very first show. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your feedback. Have a phenomenal day. Thanks for watching and listening to Hidden Gems of DFW with Kris O'Connor. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to connect with me. I love hearing your successes.